Fortunately, because it was this Friday, we're far enough along that we really didn't have to do any changes from my side. I want to do a shout out to Ray Yaman and his paralegal Linda, as well as Terry Pop and Bill McNamara at Westport Mortgage. They kept everything on track. We're doing a virtual closing, all the paperwork and all the financial transfers and everything will be done by them. The only thing I have left to do is the final walkthrough, which, I have the garage code. I'll open the garage code. The clients will go in. They're going to go in by themselves. It is a vacant house, so nobody's been living there, so we don't think anything's happened since our last time we were there. It's just, as you know, hey, who knows, maybe somebody broke in and did something, but it should be a quick walkthrough. Just a side note on here, something that they told me about is they had rented a U-Haul, and U-Haul is doing some pretty interesting things too. Pretty much they have a virtual pickup. They have put a lockbox system in place, so when my clients go to pick up their U-Haul, they literally go into a lockbox, gets the keys, and takes the van, and there's no human contact there. So just thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. Awesome. So, all right. So last week you were dealing with everything happening at your mom at Ridgefield Crossing, and you were still able to go out and with buyers and get 2 properties under contract, take a new listing, and bulletproof your transaction so that it was still closing this week. That's awesome. So Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you did to kind of make that happen. What was your virtual open house like?
Yeah, it was pretty funny because I, as you can tell, because you only see my name here, I'm not one that really likes my face plastered anywhere. But I also, I knew that I had a couple people who wanted to see the house. It was Dee Brayton's listing on Farmingville Road. And actually, one of the accepted offers I had, the folks saw that house in real life, but after seeing the virtual tour. It was good. The open house actually had 5 people come to it, the one at Farmingville, and then I also did that same morning, a week ago, Sunday, did a open house for a condo in Bethel, and we had about 4 or 5 people there. Most of them were neighbors. Some of them just gathering data and seeing what it's going to be like. I might pick up a few future clients out of that. But everyone was pretty friendly, and, we did the joke about, oh, I'm not shaking your hands, and, a lot of people have one-liners and things like that. Mm-hmm. And I pretty much said, hey, go through the house. I'm going to be down here. If you have questions, come let me know. But, let's all just be safe. And by the way, here's hand sanitizers, here's Clorox, bleach, and I mean, to some extent, making not fun of the situation. That's not it, but trying to keep it light.
Right? Trying to keep it light.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about the transaction you have closing this week. One of the calls, I was making calls to almost everybody last week that has pending transactions, just kind of checking in with them. But what did that process look like for you, and what did you do, or what did you have to do to kind of make sure that everything was on track?
Basically calling me, I don't think I did anything much different than I would have done if we didn't have this going on, because it's, keeping track with the other agent, keeping track with my clients, keeping track with the mortgage company, keeping track with the lawyers. That's what I would do anyway. So that really I don't think I did anything different except for panic like everyone else did. But then once everyone just breathed and just said, we can do this, there's no, this is so far along in the process that there's no reason why this one shouldn't come through. And, the seller has been relocated and isn't living around, so everything was probably going to be done virtually anyway. So from that standpoint, this closing is, knock on wood, it's not closed yet, but it looks like it should be okay there. So.
Awesome. Do you have any advice or suggestions for people based on what you're seeing kind of, out there, or what you picked up on any of the trainings that you think people should keep in mind when working in this kind of new environment?
Yeah, I'd like to talk a little bit, if you don't mind, about the accepted offers, because that's where I think this happened on Saturday. So we were in that mode. I'd taken one set of clients out on Saturday, and then the other ones I'd been working with on one of my listings for about 6 months, because my listing was to expire today, but thank God we got an offer in on Saturday. So they had come to an open house. I had shown the second group. My listing was in Lake Wabeeka, and they currently rent in Lake Wabeeka, and they have seen every house that has been on sale in Lake Wabeeka, and et cetera, et cetera. So I know them pretty well. And it's ironic because I met them at an open house the same day Dawn did an open house in Lake Wabeeka. And, we were sending people back and forth and forth and back. And I think in one way I got lucky because they came to my open house first. So I grabbed them before Dawn got them. But ironically, my sellers.
You don't have to worry about it.
No, but she knows this too, because we've had a lot of jokes about this. I'm in Dawn's downline, so she doesn't really care. She gets something out of it anyway. But however, my sellers all of a sudden, because I don't know what happened, but I had them sign a dual agency, and then all of a sudden they didn't want it dual. So Dawn now is I referred the buyers to Dawn since they know her, and so that was something that I don't know whether they've went out of control and panic or whatever. So anyway, so that has happened. But I want to do a shout out to Glenn Chatfield at Piper Inspections and Mike Lathrop, who is in Septics. Literally, we were negotiating one of these on Saturday from 4 o'clock to almost 11 o'clock at night. While we were negotiating, I got on the phone to both Mike and Glenn and say, hey, listen, there is really a chance that this could go through. Any chance we can schedule inspections for Sunday or Monday, because we don't know who's going to be shut down or who's going to be essential, who's going to be anything, until Monday, basically. Yeah. And they both pulled through for me. As a matter of fact, Mike did the inspection also in the septic inspection in Lake Wabeeka. He did 2 for me yesterday in the snow, so while it was snowing. So shout out to them. I mean, their businesses are in the same boat as ours is. Luckily, we're all considered essential now, so we can go forward. But I think it was thinking ahead a little bit and saying, oh my God, how are we going to pull this off if we're all closed down? And then really pushing everyone into, let's just get it done. Let's just get it done. So I'm having a little struggle because unfortunately one of the septics failed, and the town hall of Sherman is not functioning right now. So we need to, that one of the septics failed and we're working on that issue, but also the sellers claimed that they had an oil tank removed and it was, the soil tested, et cetera, but we don't have proof of that. But I can't get proof because Sherman is not open right now. So, but we'll work through that. We're not closing this week. We have a little time to do those things. So.
Awesome. So for those of you who kind of joined up in the middle of the conversation, we really thank you, Tama, for sharing. I just want everybody to know that despite everything that's going on and despite kind of the craziness and the chaos and the are we essential, are we not essential, what's going to happen to closings, what's, all of these questions, right? People are still out there doing business. I mean, Tama took a new listing, has a closing on Friday, and got 2 accepted offers this past weekend. And she was out showing other buyers and other properties as well. So, and hosting an open house. So people are still out there. People are still doing business. And just to quote those numbers again, we've had 74 new listings come on the market in the past 3 days in the area. We had 29 homes come back on the market in the past 3 days. In that same time span, we had 68 houses go into contract and 75 go on deposit post-inspection. So, I mean, there's still business happening out there. And just remind your people of that, right? It's still a great time to be a buyer. Interest rates are incredibly low. And if they need to buy, they need to buy. You can put additional, contingencies in those contracts around inspections or put the closing dates out longer to give yourself a timeline in between. For sellers, if they need to sell, like, this is a great time to be on the market. You can really limit the number of showings and things like that they're going to have to do. They're only going to be getting serious buyers through the door. And who knows what things are going to look like a month from now, right? Because it might mean for them, if they're thinking about waiting, it might mean, having to accept a lower value. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us today. Tama, thank you so much for sharing.
Can I just add one little thing?
Sure.
Don't forget to thank anybody who's helping you out. For instance, for the Lathrop side, I've known the Lathrop family since I was kids. We were kids. They've actually been taking care of my mom's septic since she bought the house, the family. And so I bought them. We were in Sherman, and there's a great little local place, the only restaurant in Sherman, which is the American Pie.
Great.
And they have these frozen pot pies that are to die for. And so I bought them a beef one and a chicken one. So here, you get a chance to support your local community, and also thank somebody who literally dropped everything in the snow and did two things for you. And I didn't get a chance to get Glenn something, but I am a part of those AM cards that we saw at Bold. Yeah. And so I just sent him out this morning a bunch of brownies. And the Silver Lining Cleaning people who cleaned my listing and disinfected it, I sent them something too. So, here's a time that if you're thinking about thank yous and thank you gifts, think about how we can support the community as well, versus, I'm not knocking anybody who does Cutco or anything like that. I'm just saying there's people very local who could use the help too. So.
Awesome. Great advice as well. Thank you, Tama. All right. Thank you, everybody. We have our meditation coming up in about 45 minutes at 4 o'clock. If you guys want to check that out, it was pretty awesome yesterday. I love how meditation, time can just fly. I felt like she was like, okay, everybody open your eyes. And I was like, where have I been for the past 10 minutes? Because that didn't feel like 10 minutes long. So it's a great way to kind of reset and get some of your energy back. And then at 5 o'clock, we'll be having our Q&A session as well. That was pretty popular last night. We had like 100 people on it for over an hour. So, and lots of questions there. So if you have any questions about what's going on, any kind of process type stuff as well, come back at 5 o'clock right here, same channel, same place, and we will see you then. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Good luck. Keep going.